Hey, how's it going? So let's see, boop, right there. Wonderful. You are sharing your screen. Okay. So well, this is the code. And just to do a breakdown of it. Okay. So as you could see, these you have to have three private data members and getters and setters for them. Those are the privates right there. You have the three getters and the three setters. Then you have to have a default constructor, conversion, and parameterize. And then you should overload these functions with friend operators. And then you have the subtraction, which should be a member function. And then you have, this is for leap years because it says that you must determine leap years in your calculations. And so this right here was my attempt at the extra credit. Now, due to limited time and such, I was not able to successfully complete it, but I kept it here just to I guess just for show and tell. And so moving on over here, this is where this is kind of where you do the things you initiate and this is where you define everything. So this is a definition of the default, parameterize. This right here, this is so that it doesn't go past, because as you could see to the left in the instructions, it says that the date should not allow invalid dates. So that's what this is right here, the invalid dates. And so this is for parameterize. You have to do the invalid date for the year and the month now, and the day. Now, obviously, the month's a little bit more complicated because every single month has more or less days. So then depending on which month you are, which would be case 1 through 12, it will tell you how many days. Like obviously February, you can't have more than 30 days in February. So then pick a day between 1 and 28, for example. So that's what you got going on there. These are the getters. Then you have the setters. Now, obviously for the setters, since you're setting them, you gotta have also these you know, you gotta also have these as well. The what's it called? You need to have these things so that they don't go beyond their bounds. Okay. And then set month, obviously, set year, these are simple. And then this is us this is us doing the friend operators and overloading them. And then it's supposed to return true or false, which is Boolean. Now that's true or false at 0 or 1. So over here, here's what it says. Okay, it's very similar over here. So this is us just overloading everything, turning false. These are very simple, just like one line. Eight, because this, for example, just to go over this one, like is not equal to, right? So then if it's not equal to, then the year has to not be equal to the month or the day. So if they're not equal to each other, then something has to be different. So that's kind of what that's saying. Um, then over here, this is the O stream and operator. Um, oh, okay, I understand. So this one was just us. This one was also a little different because as you can see here, there was nothing specific about how you could format the months and such before. But right here it says it should be printed as February 15, 2020. So that means that the month much must have like its name instead of its number, which is what I was doing for other ones. So then I said if it's say if it's number 5, that's the 5th month, that's May. So then that's what was going on there. And then we're just kind of overloading everything else. And then this prints first because of the cout. So if that, it'll print August, and then it'll come down here space, and they'll print out the day and then the year, which is exactly like it is right there. Turns O. Then this is the leap year. We have to determine the leap year for the minus and the minus operator. And so this is the mathematics behind that. Turns true or false. And so then now this is the minus operator. And so what I did here is first, you turn the total amount of days between the two. So first you do year minus B year. Now, obviously that B year is not going to be bigger because a negative year is not like a thing. That was taught to me in office hours. by the professor. So what I'm doing here is this is always gonna be bigger, but the months and the days could be bigger. Like you could have, 2024 January, and then this could be 2020 February, and obviously February has more, you're more days into the year during that time. So that I thought to myself, I said, you could subtract, you're supposed to, you could subtract if you add num years, but then num months, that's just negative, let's say it's negative days, right? Then it won't do anything. It'll just do the subtraction. So what I did was I added all of these up, and then if these came back negative, it would just subtract from the total amount of years and then tell us the difference. So then what I said to myself is at this point I need to get the total number of days in the years and in the months. So for example, I did an array. And so if it's like the ninth month, then it will be right here under 8. And so then it will just add up all the days in all the 8 months. I mean, sorry, in all the 9 months. Okay. And then, so then that's what happened there. And then this is kind of to calculate the leap year. So if the year, let's say, is 2020, then this will go from 0 to 2020 plus I, and then it'll add it up to right here to the leap sum. And then what you do is you add this to the days and month, whatever that ends up being, because that's the leap years from that day, from 0 all the way to that day. That's how many leap years there are. I mean, and then that'll just keep adding one every time. But then you also do the same thing for the B, and then obviously, at the end you're subtracting the both, so then you'll see what the true difference is between everything. So you could see right here, days and month minus 1, because an array, for example, this is the ninth month, but it starts at 0, so it's month minus 1 plus leap sum in total years, so in total days. And to get the years, you just get num years, which is the subtraction between both of them, and then you multiply by 365, so you have the total amount of days in the years, total amount of days just in general, and then the total amount of days in the month. Okay. And then you return total days. Now this was my attempt at the extra credit, which I wasn't entirely able to figure out. I would say due to lack of time because the assignment's due soon. But it was kind of like a similar take. I felt like I kind of, you know, something was wrong here, but like I said, this for show and tell. Maybe I'll complete it later on, but for sure, I was trying to do something similar, get the total amount of days. When you add them up, um, that's not as irrelevant, I guess. But there it is. So then this is to get the default constructor. Now this kind of showcases the setters. This is a conversion constructor, parameterized constructor. Obviously, the getters are, they're shown every time, any of this is even printed out. Then date D, so this shows the setters again. And then, the reason that I use date D so that I could have a decent comparison for some of these. So like A is equal to D, and obviously they're the same, so it returns 1. And all of that. Print out object A, shows that the of stream worked and such. This is the C minus A. Now, just to show that you can't go out of bounds, I did like 45, 15, those won't work. This one actually would work. But these two would show. I just put like another date. And obviously, again, I need to set it to a decent date for it to work, but it ended up not working. But the extra credit right here is show and tell. All right, so then let's carry over here to the terminal. So, so then let me actually clear everything. Okay. Um, so as you could see, the default, and let me pull up VS Code right here, so we could, the default constructor worked, the setters worked and changed it. Everything over here, parameterized constructor worked as well, because this is this is in the format day, month, year. So this is actually the month, which is printed out first, you know. Then one, obviously we know it's one, if it returns one, that means that it's true. So day is less than date B, boom, boom, boom. So everything returns true. Print out object A and in the correct format as well, the December format, with like the month being an actual written out. C minus A returns the difference between the two, you know, which that is the difference between those two. You cannot go out of bounds, check right here. Boom, boom, and it only did it for the day and the month because this is within the 1900 or before 1900. I mean after, sorry. And then this is the addition of the two. Now this obviously was not correct. Like I said, that's show and tell. That's just me trying to do the extra practice. But okay, perfect then. Perfect. Thank you for listening. Have a good one.